stand for the flag.
This public meeting, the Henry Hudson Regional Education is called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting to the public in the admin conference and start record in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. And notices report the board members and posted as required. Roll call instructions.
Ms. Burrell? Ms. Knox?
Here.
Ms. Joseph? Ms. Melvin?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Thomas? Here. Ms. Wells? Mr. Winger?
Yes.
Mr. Colangelo?
Here.
Dr. Keats?
Here.
Dr. Dean,
Good evening, everyone. Before we formally start our meeting tonight, I just wanted to recognize a dear community member that we lost last week. Today, friends and family said goodbye to Officer Kevin Moylan, who not only was a member of our school community as our Class 3 officer at Highlands Elementary School, he was a parent of a beloved student at Atlantic Highlands Elementary School, and he was a strong and vibrant member of the Atlantic Highlands community for his entire life. To know Kevin and just to think about his face and his smile was to know his warmth and his caring and his authenticity, and he is genuinely missed by all of us. So I just ask that before we start the meeting, if everybody with a very warm thought in your heart about Mr. Moylan, if we could all just bow our heads for a moment of silence to honor him.
thank you. Mr. Hardison.
From Atlantic Highlands Elementary School. In Tech Club, students planned, prepared, and presented all about the multimedia slide decks, inclusive of photos and videos, to introduce themselves to the Tech Club members. We're proud to share that Mrs. Valentini's class participated in the Prodigy Math State Challenge for the month of October and earned first place, answering 20,358 questions correctly. Students worked hard throughout the challenge, showing incredible enthusiasm and dedication. They eagerly tracked their progress each day and celebrated their accomplishments together. As a result of this outstanding achievement, our school will be receiving a celebration package from Prodigy, and we have officially qualified for the Prodigy National Cup to be held in May. Congratulations to Mrs. Valentini and all of our students for their dedication, excitement, and success. A special Veterans Day project was organized by the Student Council and STARS organization, led by Ms. Plata and Mrs. Gordon. To honor our veterans, these groups hosted a red, white, and blue ribbon fundraiser to support Community Hope for Veterans, an organization in New Jersey that provides housing, counseling, and other important support to veterans and their families. Students, staff, and families were invited to purchase ribbons for $5 each to recognize a veteran. The ribbons were tied to the playground pens, and stars with veterans' names were displayed on the school bulletin board as a tribute to those who served. Thanks to the generosity of our school community, a total of $515 was raised and donated to Community Hope. This fundraiser was a wonderful way for students to show gratitude and make a meaningful impact in support of our veterans. Ms. Plata and the Student Council also report the following news. The Jersey Food Waste and Support Our Community, the Student Council conducted a food audit on October 9th. They collected unopened items for breakfast and lunch, and that would have otherwise been thrown away. In just one day, students gathered over 150 items, including milk cartons, cheese sticks, fruit, and bread, totaling 52 pounds of food, all donated to the AACC Food Pantry in Atlantic Highlands. To keep the program going, PTO purchased wire rack, cooler bags, 2 clear storage totes, and a mini storage fridge. Boxes are now located on every floor where students can place unopened breakfast items. The student council collects the food daily and stores it until the food pantry picks it up weekly. It's a great way to recycle food back into the community and shows how AHES students can make a real difference. Mrs. Melissa Ferris' class proudly led the AHES annual election day. Once again, Mrs. Ferris' class engaged the entire school in the voting process, providing students with hands-on experience in civic engagement and decision-making. With room 126 transformed into a lively polling station, Mrs. Ferris' young election team of first and second graders took charge of everything from planning and setting up to greeting voters and collecting ballots. Excited students and staff streamed in throughout the day to cast their votes for either Pajama Day or Deputy's Day. When the results were tallied, Pajama Day was completed. Thanks to the students' leadership and hard work, this AHES tradition continues to remind everyone that participating in our community and making your voice heard is something worth celebrating. From Highlands Elementary School. 6th graders traveled by C Street Ferry to New York City to visit the 9/11 Memorial, deepening their connection to the unit on Novel 11 by Tom Roberts. Prior to the trip, students participated in a live Zoom Q&A with the author, which helped bring the story and its themes to life. As part of Feel Good Friday, Mr. DiLorenzo had a lesson on identifying and leaning on trusted adults in the school to help manage challenges and build resilience. In addition to the lesson, each class was paired with a buddy class. For example, 6th grade was paired with pre-K and 5th grade with 2nd grade, etc., to foster mentoring relationships and strengthen the school community. The National Elementary Honor Society organized the Veterans Day Assembly to honor and learn from local veterans. The program included a respectful flag holding ceremony and a discussion about the meaning of Veterans Day. Students also had the opportunity to hear directly from veterans during the Q&A session. From Henry Hudson Regional School. On October 16, Henry Hudson participated in Spirit Day, which is a national anti-bullying movement. People are encouraged to wear purple and pledge to take a stand against bullying and support LGBTQ+ people. The GSA has a banner at lunch for students and staff to sign and gave out purple stickers to anyone who did not wear purple but took the pledge. GSA member Arena Evelich participated in a virtual Pride 5K on Saturday, October 11th. It was rainy when she and Mr. Quinn met at Hoppermore Point in Highlands, but they still made their way down and back on the trail time to Atlantic Highlands and got it all done. Hudson alumnus Madison Boyman also participated with Allie Bergaletta from Middletown. The Pride 5K was organized by USA Olympian Nikki Hiltz to raise money for an organization called Point of Pride. People all over the country participated from wherever they lived at whatever time they wanted to. On October 27th, the National Honor Society welcomed guest speakers from Grace Healthcare Services. These healthcare professionals gave an educational presentation about Alzheimer's disease and dementia. The NHS has partnered with this nonprofit organization for the past 6 years and will continue its collaboration this year through a service project with members create memory books to help prompt memories of patients living with these conditions. In addition, the NHS advisors Ms. Dawn DeSanto and Mrs. Sarah Famey are proud to announce that 8 students from the junior and senior classes were inducted into the William H. Barrett chapter of the National Honor Society on October 28th. President Blakely Smith provided a candlelight ceremony as the following students were inducted: Josie Poor, Alexandra Estrada Diaz, Charles Grievous, Blake Goulian, Addison Kretsky, Aurora O'Neill, Sydney Pettigrew, and Liliana Lutucci. The HHRS Drama Club is proud to present Be More Chill on Friday, November 21st at 7 p.m. and on Saturday, November 22nd at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. This musical is the story of Jeremy Hughes, an awkward teenager who gets access to a supercomputer called a Squid that is meant to help him navigate high school with swagger, confidence, and pride. But with great power comes great responsibility. Will Jeremy be able to handle the pressures of high school popularity? How far will he go to achieve his goals? Tickets are $10 for students and senior citizens, and $15 for adults. Tickets can be purchased at the door or in advance by visiting cur8.com and searching HHRS. Thank you for your continued support of the performing arts in our district. This concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Beams.
Thank you, Cole. So first, I want to say congratulations to our re-elected and newly elected board members, Mr. Colangelo and Ms. Burrell, both on their seats, and they will be returning to the board, and we will be welcoming a new member to our board, Mr. Robert Fierro, when we reorganize in January. As Mr. Harbison said, we had 3 amazing, well, we still have 1 to go, Veterans Day celebrations in all 3 schools. This is the first time that all 3 schools have had veterans come in at all different levels and all collaborated, both for the Veterans Day breakfast that was held up here, but then all the 2 elementary schools also planned and organized their own Veterans Day events to honor not only our local veterans, but veterans across our nation. And it was really, really absolutely outstanding. Our Veterans Day breakfast was held here last Friday. We had students from all 3 buildings participate. It is always an exceptional morning. The kids learn so much from just interacting with our local veterans and what it means to be a veteran. The veterans really appreciate the cards and the stories that the students tell them. It's nice to see generations together because a lot of our students invite their grandparents who were veterans, so it's nice to see the generations together. It's just absolutely wonderful. I want to thank Ms. Marianne File, who has spearheaded this event over the last 6 to 8 years. She is incredible in how she works to get this all together. Our PTO for organizing the logistics of the breakfast, our HHREA, who also helps to organize and contribute. They want a grant that contributed to the breakfast. So really it was a full district celebration of Veterans Day. It was really outstanding. We are in the middle of parent-teacher conferences this week. We held Henry Hudson's parent-teacher conference on Tuesday. We are now in the midst of elementary school parent-teacher conferences. So there are half days tomorrow and Friday for elementary school students only. Henry Hudson still operates on its normal schedule. Last week, all 3 schools completed field testing for the NJSLA and NJGPA adaptive tests that are new to the state this year. Again, the students were not scored during this field test, so we will not get any indication on how our schools did or how the students fared. The test is simply to make sure that the items are ready for the test that will be administered in the spring. There is a lot of pushback right now to the NJDOA because it is November, middle of November, almost December. And we still do not have any information released from the Department of Education on how these tests will be scored or what it looks like in terms of comparative data. The state did just submit their ESSA report to the federal government, which does speak to the adaptive test and the new test, but we have to wait for that to be approved by the federal government, and we're not sure how long that will take. So once we get any information on what that scoring will look like for students and for families and for teachers, we will let you know. I do want to thank all of the teachers and the students for participating. It went off without a hitch. There were students that won't even be tested, that had to go back and test in this field test just to test the items. And so telling kids that you don't even have to take this test ever, but we need you to test for us, and they still were great about it. So I'm really, really grateful to all of our teachers for learning something new right away. The state didn't give us a lot of time. Our teachers were fantastic, our students and our families were fantastic, so thank you to everybody. And then finally, we have a nice short week next week as we start our first, believe it or not, of our winter holiday breaks. As we break to celebrate Thanksgiving. So I know it's a wonderful time of year where we all get to be with our family and our friends and just get to take a break and rest and recharge. And so it's a quick one before we come back for a short time and then break again for our winter holiday break. So from my family to all of you, I wish you all a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mrs. Shaw.
I hope you don't have a report tonight.
Thank you. My report, just briefly, the 2 sides report on concluding here in front of the Supreme Court last month, and there is no update, probably going to expect one while this board as it exists now exists. So probably in 5 o'clock in the coming year. So in case anyone's interested in that update, unfortunately, we have none. There were no committee meetings this month. So now the presentations start with Student Spotlight, Highland Elementary, National Honor Society, Veterans Day Tribute. Dr. Jackie, please.
Good evening, everybody. We're very proud, Highland Elementary School is very proud tonight to be spotlighting one of our programs, which is our National Elementary Honor Society, the Highland chapter. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first advisor. We have two, Mrs. Harpstreet and Mr. Coviello. We're going to kick it off with Mrs. Harpstreet.
Good evening. We are honored to be the first student activities group from Highlands Elementary School to be presenting at the Board of Education meeting this year. The membership of our Highlands Elementary School chapter of the National Elementary Society has been earned by effective demonstration of the qualities held in high esteem by our society. Our members demonstrate the quality of scholarship, responsibility, service, and leadership. Tonight we would like to highlight our service pillar of the Highlands Honor Society. I would like to begin by recognizing each of our 4 members. Clancy Moran, President. Ryan Brown, Vice President. Leila Anthony Covert, Secretary. And Amelia Punchow, Treasurer.
Good evening. I am Miles John, NEHS Vice President. Our first service project of the year took place last week. We held a Veterans Day breakfast where 12 veterans attended and participated in our recognition ceremony. We recognized each veteran with an introduction and rose to honor their service to our country.
Good evening, I'm Lily Petchow, NHS Treasurer. Our next project that we are working on our holiday gift baskets for hospitalized children within the area. We are going to be asking the school and community for small donations of toys and snacks to create baskets for children that will spend their holiday season in the hospital. We are going to donate these baskets to Riverview Medical Center and Pediatric Research.
Good evening. I'm Lindsay Moran, NHS President. In recognition of Earth Day, we will walk around our school building and grounds and clean up any trash we can find in the month of April. This will show the importance of taking care of our environment and the land.
Good evening, I'm Leila Anthony Covert, NEHS Secretary. Our final project of this year will be a fundraising walk for cancer research. We are planning to host a walk in the month of May, which is Cancer Research Month. We have not decided which organization we will be donating the funds to yet, but we are excited to begin planning this event.
And last but not least, we would like to thank Dr. J for choosing to showcase the Highlands Elementary chapter of the National Honor Society. We're so proud of the leadership that all of our members have displayed throughout this process, whether it's asking questions, coming up with their own questions. They all did a really tremendous job. And we are fully excited to service the rest of our community throughout this year. Dr. Jack,
All right. Thank you, NEHS, for your contributions not only to our school community, but the greater Highlands community. I would like to add that they did a tremendous job with the Veterans Assembly. It was really nice to have something of our own in our school, and then also participate up here at Hudson. What was really cool about it is a lot of the veterans that were part of our program, like I heard Dr. Lee said, we have parents of our current students. One of our security officers is a veteran. He participated. Our Captain Roxby was part. So all of our community members, it was nice for the kids to see that these veterans are all around you. They serve their country and now, they're moving on to other careers because they were veterans. And it was just great down there. So thank you, guys. And with that, we're actually going to call a student who was just up here back up, coincidentally. He was named as our HES Student of the Month, that's Mr. Clancy Moran. Clancy is obviously highly active, a very dedicated member of our school community. He serves both as the Student Council President and the President of the National Elementary Honor Society for Highlands. He's an outstanding student who challenges himself academically, and he consistently demonstrates exceptional character, which of course is the most important thing. We're proud to recognize Clancy for his leadership, hard work, and positive impact on our school. Congrats, Clancy. Our staff member of the month unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. She had a prior commitment to her daughter's lacrosse team actually, but I would like to read a little bit about Ms. Jennifer Wolf, our staff member of the month. Congrats, Jen. So, in addition, our staff members of the month are nominated by the peers and then voted on. So this comes from our faculty, and I'd like to read some of the words that just kind of put them into a mashup of all the different things that were said about Ms. Wolf. She was nominated, first and foremost, for encouraging all students of all ages, pre-K to 6, to really appreciate music and to tap into their own creativity. She brings energy and passion to her teaching, helping students express themselves through music. Her colleagues also highlight that she's a trusted and reliable resource for both staff and students, always willing to lend support where needed. We're proud to recognize her tonight, even though she couldn't be here, so again, congratulations, Ms. Wolf. Mr. Ferguson.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to call up our student of the month. Here. Yes. I guess she knows. Alice Edson, come on up. All right, Alice. Our 5th grade team, Ms. Christopoulos and Mrs. Fransberg nominated you. This is what they had to say. Alice is the leader of the classroom, consistently modeling the expectations and norms of our class and our school community. She demonstrates strong critical thinking skills and shows genuine compassion towards her classmates. Her peers look up to her and frequently recognize her for being a supportive and caring friend. She is truly deserving of being named Student of the Month. For our staff members month, I hope Sensa didn't make this up. I also found out just now that it might be their birthday. Is it true? All right. Thanks for coming here for your birthday.
Imagine if I made it up.
All right, Ms. Sapinto is collaborative in every sense of the word. She's always willing to share her ideas, support colleagues, and contribute to a stronger learning community. Her character nature shines through in her daily interactions, creating a classroom environment where every child feels valued and supported. And most importantly, Christy makes learning fun. Her energy, creativity, and genuine joy for teaching brightens each day for her students. We are very grateful for her hard work, her dedication, and the heart that she brings to our school. Congratulations, Ms. Pinto, as staff member of the month. Have a very happy birthday. Thank you.
Right, Mr. McCarthy could not be here tonight, So I am standing in to announce the Henry Hudson Student and Staff Members of the Month. So is Ben Colson here? I know that you weren't sure if Ben was going to be here. So Ben Colson is our Student of the Month. I'm going to read a little bit about him. This student consistently displays incredible character and focus. He is a student athlete who exemplifies leadership amongst his peers. In groups, he ensures tasks are completed, communicates effectively with challenging group members without criticizing or undermining other students, and seeks teacher assistance. He is the student that all students hope to be paired with in the room. Congratulations to Ben. All right, now I need Miss Molly Hensel, who is After completing their first varsity field hockey season, this freshman dominated as a goalkeeper. This season, they made an impressive 152 saves. I don't think you told me it was 152. I think you downplayed that a little bit. Which is an incredible accomplishment typically achieved by seasoned players. This athlete continues to put in work in their free time by attending weight room sessions and attending private goalkeeper lessons. This athlete was an integral part of our team this season and will only continue to grow. Congratulations. And I don't see Aurora. I know that they're getting ready for their big production, so I don't see Aurora tonight. They also had a Zoom meeting with one of the original stars of Be More Chill tonight. So I will give her a pass because the cast is meeting with a big Broadway star. So right, they got a good pass. But I am going to read this about our Artist of the Month, Aurora O'Neill. This student has been a valued member of the arts community at HHRS for many years, participating in drama club, marching band, concert band, jazz band, and choir, while maintaining an excellent GPA, membership in NHS, and participation in multiple athletic teams. As a senior, this student demonstrates leadership by example daily, offering younger students the chance to see the habits and behavior of a truly stellar student in practice every single day. It has been a joy to work with this student for the last 5 years, and I will enjoy every moment of our final year working together. Congratulations to Aurora. All right, and for our HHRS staff member of the month, will Miss Rachel DeWager. All right, you have to stand here and list all these wonderful things. Miss DeWager, she is truly amazing in how she balances class meetings, college applications, and testing all at the same time. She is always available for students and staff concerns. She is especially knowledgeable and helpful in matters concerning ML students. I can't say enough. Amazing accolades for Rachel. She is truly a special person at HHRS. Congratulations.
Thank you all. Now it's time for public comment on agenda items. Do you have any comments on any items on the agenda? Approval of minutes. I need a motion of regular minutes from 10/15/25, please. Here. And a motion on the executive minutes from 10/15. Roll call.
Yes. Ms. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Wiesenberger?
Yes.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes. Correspondence, we received a couple thank notes from both family and Chili Fest and to the board for the facility and use requests. We have the Fit Lights Historical Society requesting use of the parking lot. The Highlands Elementary PTO requesting use of the library. The Argonauts, which is the field hockey thing, use of the gymnasium. And Michael Collins for the Christmas pantomime for the AHS. Motion, please.
Thomas?
We're here.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Melvin?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Mr. Whitmer?
Yes.
Mr. Grant?
Yes. Now it's time for the consent agenda. Please note there was an addendum added to the consent agenda under item 15. Keep curating middle school. Anybody have anything? Well, any motion on the consent agenda?
Knox?
Consent, please. Anybody have anything you want to discuss after?
Just, as long as you're
I did.
I wanted to just say I'm very happy to see that the elementary school is moving toward a combined trip to Camp Berkeley, and I think that that's awesome. And I hope that grows into something that really brings the kids together before they move on to more school together.
Anybody else? Roll call, Mrs. Sherlock. Actually, well, motion, so roll call, Mrs. Sherlock.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Melvin?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Mr. Whitmer?
Yes.
Mr. Colangelo?
Yes. New business. Any board member have any new business to discuss? Mrs. Thomas, possible platform announcement. Anyone here from possible?
I've circulated a form to our members to inquire about what they're most interested in seeking more education. And we are going to have we're going to have I'm sorry. Thank you. The NJ, New Jersey School Board reference, our person, come and teach us certain nights of the week. We're making a choice of what nights or days, and also we're choosing between 1 and 5 subjects as to the importance of them. We will have 2 classes this year from January till June to increase our knowledge of the workings of the board and the governance of what we've all signed up and been elected to do.
That's perfect, Mrs. Thomas. Any other board member? Ms. Melvin?
It's actually probably old business, we skipped it, but it's fine. I just wanted to make the observation that in the recent election, both of the candidates who were running for mayor were talking about improvements and attention being paid to Kapuch Games Field, which I keep very close to pronouncing well. I know that the board's been talking about developing a softball field on the elementary school, and I know that that's still in early stages, but if the municipality is interested in improving the existing softball field, it's literally across the street from the elementary school. I just want to make the observation that that might be something that the board, instead of dramatically changing the availability and usage of the field at elementary school, that maybe we could use the funding that's been allocated for that in the budget to help with the improvements across the street. Thank you.
Thank you. With no other, is anybody in the public comment section for items that are not on the agenda? And everybody remember, even if you know who you are, you still must state your name and address, please.
See the button that like looks at people, like a person? Yep.
Okay, Chelsea Wachowski, thank you. 255 East Highland Avenue, Highlands. This is about the survey regarding moving 6th grade to Henry Hudson. There was a question asking for volunteers to join the committee. What's the timing of when this group would begin?
The committee?
Yeah.
So we started our committee already internally, just to start some of because it's part of the strategic planning to look at middle school. So we started an internal committee. So the first thing that we're looking at is just the feasibility, like if it could happen at all. So we're looking at financials, we're looking at staffing, we're looking at all of those things. Once we get through that phase, then we would be bringing parents in to work on like what that model might look like if we find that it is feasible. And even if it's not feasible, what would a middle school model look like for us? Because we have constraints. So this is going to take time. So I think I said that at a different meeting. This isn't something that's happening quickly, because there are so many logistical pieces with restructuring the school district. Also, in a time when, we have a change in our governor, that means there are possible changes to school finance, and there are financial things that we have been talking about that also impact us as a school district. So when will we be bringing the parents in? Probably at the latter part of the year, just to start to help us look at possible models for what middle school would look like for us after we get through the feasibility piece of it, which is like the finances and logistics and things like that. So we would start to look at our parent volunteers who come onto the committee later on in the year and then work with us for a while until we figure out what that looks like.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a couple more. Let me just, you answered some of them. Will anyone who expressed interest in joining the committee be invited? Like, how is it decided who gets selected?
The committee will look at the people and then we would reach back out to them for availability also, because we have some constraints obviously with teachers and their working and things like that. So the committee would make a decision on parents that are coming in based on kind of the needs, and it might be different parents at different times and how we would work with them. But that would be a decision that the committee would make.
Okay, so then how they would just be notified?
Yeah, we have the contact information from that survey, so we'd be reaching out at that time. Thank you. Yeah, no problem.
Just leave this on.
You can turn it off. Thank you.
I'm sorry, quick.
Brent, you're running. Are you running out? No, I'm going. Please.
Okay, I just want to Joanne Chesky, 27th grade tour here in Highlands, but I'm speaking as president of the council. I just want to kick in something about pollution that I'm not sure is out there. We did put in a grant in the past year to put a walking and bike bridge going over 36 to get to make Cavucci Field more accessible for everybody. And the thoughts were that that bike trail would actually help people get up into Hudson Park too. So I know that we're seeking other grants to do it. So it's just something to talk. Okay?
Thank you. Yes.
Brett Santos with George Boulevard. My question is also about the survey. And I just saw it come because I got it a little bit late, but it didn't seem like there was any question on there that asked the parents whether or not they thought the concept was a good idea or not. Was there?
Yeah, there was a question that asked if you supported the concept.
What were the results of that?
So we just met with the committee, so we'll share that all out in January. So it was kind of a mixed bag. So once we look at the results and the comments along with that, so some people are in support if it changes, like if the structure changes in terms of different things. So we'll share that out in January and we'll share out the feasibility piece of it.
All results will be shared in January?
Yes.
Prior to the next meeting or after the January meeting?
At the January meeting.
At the meeting.
The committee will meet, yeah. So the committee is going through what that feasibility will look like. So part of that is the survey results, part of that is the financial analysis and the logistical analysis. And our goal is to share out the committee's recommendation at the January meeting.
Has the schedule for next year been published?
There are actually, I guess, that in the letter, there are actually 2 January meetings. There's the organizational meeting, correct? And so just like any other government organization, at that time, these will be announced and noticed.
No, the meetings for the full year, notice, they're on the meeting.
Yeah. For my school year,
Yeah.
I really apologize about that. January meeting has been noticed, yes.
But it'll be at the regular meeting, not the reorg meeting. The reorg meeting is not a business meeting.
Okay.
And if the committee is not ready to make a recommendation, we'll let people know.
Would it be possible, even if the committee is not ready recommendation, to just release the survey results?
It'll be up to the committee.
Okay.
But I can bring that back to the committee.
Please do.
Yeah.
Ms. Nguyen.
Jessica Newman, Highlands. I just have a question about the softball field because I haven't heard much in the board meetings about it. What is the process and where are you at with that process?
We have gotten the softball fields, and it's very expensive, so we're not moving forward with the one at Highlands, and now we're looking at other conclusions with one of them. So we have, when we brought it to the committee last month, we decided not to move forward with that because it was too expensive. And now we'll move forward with alternatives. So we're going to look at losing other fields in the area, fields in Atlantic, as well as possible fields to our, work for our fields.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none? Any Board of Education comments?
I'd just like to follow up on the comments about the survey. I think that we might be moving backwards here. And I'm just making an observation. The only vocal people from the public I've heard, either here or out on the streets, they're not in favor of the change, at least simply moving sixth grade. And I would hate to see the committee, whoever they are, do a lot of work, spend a lot of time, present it to the public, and then the public overwhelmingly says we don't want that. Maybe it would be a good idea for the board to have some sort of forum. I think that the survey, a lot of folks didn't even know it was going out. I don't know if it was only to members of the community or the whole public. Kind of doesn't matter. It sounds like the community would like more input on this process. Maybe there should be a board member who sits on the committee. And it's kind of weird to hear that we've given a survey to the public, but we're going to let the committee decide whether they want to release their results anymore. I don't know why you wouldn't want to share that information. So maybe the board would like to hold some sort of forum with the public more about this stuff.
We'll discuss with the administration prior to the meeting. Ms. Thomas.
I agree with Gina that we should have a little more input into the sixth grade move and all, especially considering the enrollment of both schools. School adult is not elementary school enrollment. So I think there should be more items on the survey, also thinking about how to combine both schools. It may or may not be feasible, but it might make the balance of students in each school, the numbers more even, like the lower, when Gina's talked about this before too, the lower grades in one building, the upper grades in the other, and the teaching and the education would be more consistent because they'd be together. And that could add, with sixth grade, we have a very small sixth grade, I think, coming up this next year. It'll start adding to the number of kids in the school, the number of teachers that can collaborate on the same grade levels. But I really think since we have a committee right now that's working on this, I'd like to see, as Gina said, it expanded, and I'd really like to see a board member on it. I don't understand how it's moving without at least one board member.
So the first part of this, as I explained, is just to see if it's even feasible. So this is not creating a model for anybody to move anywhere. It is to look at the feasibility. So there is not a model for that.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
So we don't even, so it's been talked about, right? There are pros and cons of moving sixth grade to be with their middle school peers. However, there's a feasibility issue with it, right?
That's the word I don't understand.
Whether or not it's possible for us to do it from a financial standpoint, from a staffing standpoint, and a sustainability standpoint, right? Because it's not like a one-time, if we screw it up, we move them back. This has to be something that we project out for years. And there are financial implications to all of that in any restructuring of the school district. There are also timing issues related to collective bargaining agreements. There's timing issues related to. So the first phase of this with the committee, which is just school-based members, is to even come back and say, is this feasible at all? Because we need to look at all of those pieces and say, what would this do to us financially? What would this do to us from a transportation standpoint? What would this do to us from a programmatic standpoint? What does this do to us from a staffing standpoint? And what would that look like long-term into the future? Until we even look at that feasibly, there is no model to present out, right? The first thing is to say whether or not this can even happen from all of those pieces, because it's not as easy as just moving kids into a building or switching kids around. There are a lot of logistical pieces to that, and staffing and financial pieces, and then timing pieces related to collective bargaining agreements, what we have existing. And so right now we're working internally to look at that feasibility, because that's the level of expertise from members of the teaching staff to the administration that are looking at those pieces to say, okay, we heard from strategic planning that a middle school model is something that the community would like us to investigate. A 6 to 8 model. That was one of the goals that the community brought to the administration. So that's what we're investigating right now. From there, that's when we would have a larger committee to look at how we might be able to do that. That would be parents, board members,
So what's on this committee now?
teachers and administrators.
Okay.
Mhm.
Numbers or something.
So we have,
Teachers, board administrators.
so we have, the administrators come when they are needed, right? So like, Janice doesn't come to every single meeting because we're not always talking about finance. We have teacher representation from all 3 buildings, and then we have administrators from all 3 buildings, and then central office. When we start to look at programs, we bring in Mr. Jen. When we look at special education, we bring in Dr. Lombardi. Mr. McCarthy heads the committee, and then we have teacher representation from all 3 buildings.
But that also, in my opinion, adds to the suggestion to also look into dividing what the feasibility, the likelihood, the sustainability, and all those things you just remembered, Jen, would be for pre-K, kindergarten, first, whatever, and then 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Okay, so I would like to see that put into the study a little bit, so that instead of saying at the end of this, we may or may not be moving 6th grade, I'd like to see at the end of this study, this committee, also that there has been some light or determination as to any feasibility of making the 2 buildings into an lower elementary and another elementary type thing. Since we're doing the work, filling yourself already, let's make it consistent and universal.
Also, look where areas we can support the feasibility study. If we could look at optimizing classrooms for pre-K, and it would be increased enrollment.
Yeah,
Possibility.
Well, we have to look at that with the grants. But there are some possible changes coming to the grant. There's a lot of changes. There's possible changes in the next 3 years coming to the PEA grant. So, but we are always looking. You have to, it's part of the grant that every year we have to project these things out into preschool. So that's taken care of every single year through the preschool grant.
I'd just like to say that I think it's going to be, speaking as I'm the opposite, I think it's a hard sell to have families that specifically move for a small town feel to then go and say, you have to go bring your kid to this other small town, even though you moved to Atlantic Islands or Atlantic Islands. I think it's islands you now have to take your 4-year-old somewhere else, put them on a bus, rather than if you bought for like the bulk of those now, for being able to see the school, like stuff like the bagel shop, all of that kind of goes away. And I know I went on before it all. It's just something to think about, like this county itself.
Can I just follow up with one other comment? I think, but my understanding is that the movement of the 6th grade wasn't that the community suggested it, that it was a recommendation made as part of the May 22 feasibility study, that Atlantic Islands was overcrowded, and that if regionalization went forward, the way it would help alleviate the overcrowding in Atlantic Islands would be to move the 6th grade. I don't think anyone from...
So there are parents that maybe feel like when we look at things that a sixth graders have to do in the same room as a 4-year-old, there's a difference of, like, we don't want a magic show for a 4-year-old that kid's so excited. The sixth graders like, I'm about to do something else. They're more emotionally tuned towards the 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
I'm not disagreeing, I'm not sure what that has to do with my comment.
I just said I'm a parent, and we have thought that the 6th graders should be with 7th, 8th graders, and not necessarily with K through 5.
So I just want to clarify, the Kane study did make a recommendation to look at possibly moving 6th grade. We did not touch that. Then we went through strategic planning. The administration does not set the goals and objectives for strategic planning. The community comes in, and based on what is discussed by the community members, they set the goals. One of the goals set during strategic planning was to investigate a true 6 through 8 middle school model. So that's what we're investigating. We never, yes, the people that wrote the Kane study made that recommendation, but we didn't touch that. Then it came up. It was something that was discussed in strategic planning. It was one of the goals created during strategic planning. So as a part of that, the administration in our action plan created a plan to investigate the 6 through 8 model. So that's what we are investigating because it was what was agreed upon by the community, and then that was what was approved in the strategic plan that the administration created the action plan for. If the majority of the board, and they're not all here, so we should probably have this conversation when the rest of the board members are here. If the majority of the board would also like us to conduct a separate feasibility study on the full restructure of the district, that is a very different study, but the majority of the board would have to direct the administration to do that feasibility study. So I think that when the other board members are here to participate in that conversation, then that is a conversation that probably should be done then when the other board members who are not present can chime in at that time. That's just my, so that's the difference between the Kane study, but we never moved forward on anything just because the Kane study said so. We didn't start to move.
Did the majority of the board say we should have a committee just to explore 6th grade? I don't know that.
So the board approved the strategic plan, so that's what we're doing. And yes, they approved the strategic plan, one of the action items. Yeah, so the board, minus one member, approved the strategic plan, and the action plan related to the strategic plan, and it was in the action plan we would convene this committee. And yes, so that, yes. Yes.
Any other board comments? Well, we're actually beyond public comment, but do you have something to say?
You never officially moved beyond public comment, you just asked the board.
Well, I'm about to ask you, would you like to comment?
I would.
Okay.
I just want to two questions. For moving to 6th grade, is it moving it within the context of Henry Hudson, or so it's a 6 through 12 school, or is it separate as a 6 through 8 that's separate from the 9 through 12?
Do you mean in a separate building?
Separate building.
So we're looking at we don't have a separate building for middle school. We don't have enough students to put in a separate building for middle school or for high school. So we have to look at the overall enrollment.
That's fine.
But we are not looking, what I can share for the committee is not looking at, this is the way Henry Hudson operates right now, and we're just going to stick 6th grade in there. We are looking at creating a school within a school. So we're looking at a model where, although there may not be a physical separation in a building, there is a separation of a middle school program and a high school program.
So I think that was two things. One, I think you're talking about having the committee being kind of like currently a black box that the public doesn't really have access to.
Hold on, wait. I'm going to stop you right there on that comment alone. In response to Mrs. Thomas's question, although Dr. Bean expounded on it, the simple answer to that is Why look into if we should, if we can't figure out if we can?
Uh,
So it's not up, sir, excuse me, sir, you don't mind to come back up, so I'm not here to argue. But of the simplest of terms, when you say it's a black box and this school is hiding anything?
I didn't say you're hiding anything.
When you say it's black
No,
box.
it does not. Black box is not
Okay, so you
transparent.
know what?
Well, it's
Move
not.
on to those comments.
So currently, with the committee being not including any members of the public or members of the board,
Because we're not ready for that yet.
and already having distributed a survey, which causes lots of conversation around this topic,
Which only happened last month, today.
which should have happened after the committee if we're still dealing with feasibility, so why do we survey before feasibility?
To see if it's even worth looking into.
Let me come.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. You missed that.
Richard, that's really not fair.
You are not, this is not a sexually interactive, this is not, this is
This is
not.
not an unfair question, Richard.
We not understand the
I'm
height
being
of the
respectful of the questions. I'm being respectful of the questions, Rich.
It's actually a public comment section. Dr. Louise chooses to answer the question.
She might answer if she would like.
She may, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Dr. Green, my questions are around the order of operations, around the feasibility for this committee, relative to the survey, which causes a lot of conversation, and feels that might be set up backwards and causes conversation in the public that maybe results in things that maybe we don't want.
So I do appreciate your feedback on that. Again, this was a committee that we looked at this. One of the things we wanted to see if there was even support for this idea. So before, like Mr. Colangelo said, before we go down a rabbit hole, we also wanted to see what the community felt about something like this. I had talked about it at multiple board meetings prior to the survey going out. We have been talking about it. I announced it multiple times that we were embarking on this committee this year. It's been something that has been talked about. It's been talked about with multiple iterations of the board as well. So this isn't coming from a vacuum because this board has also had multiple iterations, whether it is from the 3 individual districts where they started the regionalization process and things like this were discussed with 3 individual boards at that time. Then we added a 4th transitional board. It was discussed at that time, and it has been discussed publicly here. The reason that right now it is not time for the community to be involved because the community can't give us input outside of the survey into the logistical piece of it because they do not have the expertise in the school finance or our collective bargaining agreement, and there are things that we're talking about right now that when the committee, we're not going to not be transparent, we're not going to not share the survey. We are going to share all of that, and we in community, and again, when the strategic plan was presented and all the action plans, we've been very transparent about that. We have a whole section on our website. We presented them here. We presented them each night during the strategic planning. So we are right now working on things that the school community, and this is how schools work. The school has to come up with a recommendation. And that is our job. That is not the role of the board. As a matter of fact, that is not, they do not get involved in the operational side. They do things like approve a strategic plan, which then gives us the direction as administration to look into or to investigate and come back when the professionals, which are our teachers and our administrators, get together and say, okay, we're ready to now present something to the public. So this is the first step of that, is that we were given a strategic plan by the community. It was approved by this board. We literally just got the strategic plan approved in October, September. So we've only been working for a short amount of time on this. And as we've said, obviously we want people to be involved. We asked for if people wanted to be on the committee. And so when it's time to start to present to the public, we will. I know that doesn't seem like anything we do causes consternation a lot of times in the community. I appreciate when people come and have a dialogue about it, right? Because we're not transparent.
I don't think you want to stop each other.
Right. So that's the process we're taking right now. So first, there is work that needs to be done by the school professionals before we can start to engage the parents.
So one recommendation is to release survey results as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Because I think that having them not released leads the public to say, what's going on, right? Like, you know, it's just a question. I know other parents in the finance that, you know, I don't know, we're not yet in the school, but they will are looking to understand what's going on. And having those survey results would be a point of communication that I think is easily done. Right? So that's one recommendation I would have. And second, you said the board, there's no need for a board audit. I would just try to move as quickly as possible because the longer it takes, the longer people start having rumor anyway outside.
And January is updated, as we discussed.
I did, possibly, yes.
Yes.
No, there'll be an update in January, just don't know if it's a full phase, but there'll be some type of update in January.
Okay.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, yeah.
You may.
Thank you. So when it comes to the parent committee, is there any possibility that a parent committee will be formed and then sixth grade doesn't merge into Hudson, or maybe it ends up being the upper and lower elementary?
The possibilities are endless at this point in time. All right, we don't know. Once again, we're the cart is before the horse at this point in time.
Right.
All right, this question to bring come January.
Sure.
Okay.
I just wanted to just have clarification on, is the decision being made first, and you answered it, and then the committee would only be forming if they're talking about, okay, we're moving forward with sixth grade, or if it's just still a dialogue?
That's still not.
Okay, thank you.
And just, it may not be feasible like now, right? So that's the other thing. I think I've talked a lot about that there are a lot of changes. There's a lot of uncertainty in public education right now, from a financial standpoint, from everybody knows, this is not a secret, what's happening with health insurance costs, to energy costs, to everything that impacts us to be able to maintain the great programs that we've had for our children for all of these years. Because there's a level of uncertainty, and we're looking at something that has to be a sustainable model, we may also say that this may take even more time, and this is where we are today, but we need to still look at some of these uncertain pieces for the next couple of years to see how they level out. We all see what's happening with, there's a huge conversation right now in the state of New Jersey around school funding and school finance. That's the biggest uncertainty that we have as a school district, is looking at things like that, right? There are other things in the district also. We just talked about athletic fields. So at the same time as we talk about some of these things, there's plenty of people in the community that also want beautiful brand new athletic fields. That costs a lot of money too. So we also have to look at priorities that we've set within the district and maintaining the programs that we have. So there will never be a decision, like just a decision made. The decision will be made collectively. The models, if we even get that far, would be revealed, and then we would get community input again. So we're not done going out to the community. That's an ongoing part of this process, just to say it. Thank you.
There's also in both municipalities a possible shift in the amount of housing, not only what's already planned, but with the new affordable housing laws coming into effect. So we're trying to consider not only within the school, but outside the school as well. Any other board comments? Executive session. I need a motion to go into executive session. And second,
Whereas pursuant to FASA 10:4-12, the Board of Education may exclude the public from that portion of the public meeting at which the board discusses any of the matters described in said statute. Now and therefore be resolved, the Board of Education shall forward enter into closed session to discuss the following matters. It's an unwarranted invasion of individual policy and a litigation matter, court matter, and no business will be decided this evening.
We will not take it. We'll adjourn right now.
And my apologies for my tone this evening. I was at a long funeral this morning, so I do apologize.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Ms. Miller? Yes. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Vineyard?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.